Okay, so I'm Veronika Mazour. I'm the CEO of Exo Platform. So we are a digital workplace. So that's why we are talking about this topic today. So I structured it in 3 basic times, a little bit of general ideas, then we talk a little bit about use cases, and then a little bit about technology and the underlying framework. So as in many other industries, AI is disrupting us today. So it's disrupting and redefining the digital workplace. Why? Because basically AI becomes the main interface increasingly through which people access their work, access knowledge, access workflows, and basically, the point of entry into their work systems becomes AI. And so, because of that, people who control the workplace, they also control the AI experience and increasingly your work future. And so we are seeing Microsoft, Google, so big digital workplace systems, introducing AI, embedding it into their platforms and sticking and locking the users with it. And so, the lock-in that they already have with their users becomes stronger. And at the same time, open source represents an opportunity, a new opportunity, I would say, to give away the shackles and, become free. Because with any new invention, there's a new opportunity. So for us at Exo, open source matters even more today with AI, because it allows you to be, free from the model, so interoperable, choosing what you want to do. It allows you to choose your deployment. So with other people talked about it, I think this morning, it's very important to be aware and be in control of your infrastructure. So where is your data and how you access it? So this is the second thing that open source can help you with. There's also open governance at the foundations level, but also basically in your company, transparency, being able to respect user privileges and permissions, which is very important and which open source can help with. And finally, innovation. So it's very dangerous at this time where things are still evolving very quickly to lock yourself with one model, with one system, with one provider, because you're missing out on a lot of opportunities of, becoming free from all of that. So that's how we see it. We see it as an opportunity, and Exo tries to leverage this opportunity to provide a digital workplace with an open source AI, basically, in a nutshell. So a little bit about what we do. So we are a digital workplace, open source, French, and we are, providing service in many companies, many clients around the world. And what we are offering is an alternative to Microsoft 365. So all of the use cases that you see here, we offer them intrinsically, and we empower them or augment them with AI today. So in Microsoft language, well, I'm using this because Microsoft is dominant in our digital workplace space. So we are constructing ourselves as an alternative to what they're offering. Today, they're offering Copilot, and we are trying to concurrence them to provide an alternative to whatever they do. So on the left, you see everything that we do intrinsically, and on the right, what we cover through integrations. So in particular, people who want to switch from Microsoft 365 with email, we work with multiple partners, and we provide that as part of a live collaboration work suite with Orange Business, which is a good alternative for those who want to switch from end to end. So about AI, so this is a new direction for us. So we started working on it like a year and a half ago, with the basic principles being that we want AI to be embedded in the use cases, in the core of the digital workplace, and at the same time, we want it to be controlled. So we want the users and the company be in control of the AI. So from the user perspective, that's what we try to do. So we try to give users contextual agents that are available easily throughout their apps, throughout the content, wherever they are, that are engaging, so working in natural language and also, voice probably, and controlled. The user is always reassured that whatever he does, he is ultimately have a say at what AI will do. So nothing without the user consent. And from the framework, very lately, So we try to be agnostic from the model and perspective. So multi-LLM, multi-model, multimodal. We control the data, so we manage the RAG and everything inside EXO, so that nothing goes out without the client being able to say that he wants it to. We respect user permissions, and we try to provide people with the utmost liberty as to what they use through the models that they embed, but also through interactions with external systems. So extensibility being the keyword here. So what does it mean, AI in the digital workplace for the user, so for you? Without going into coding, so AI is available everywhere. So what it means is that in any context, in any app, you have multiple action points. So where you basically you press a button, you have AI, and you have some suggested actions, so that a user who doesn't like to use AI, who's not comfortable, can still easily use it for basic actions. So basically catching up, for instance, or doing something without even thinking, and it's very useful and very easy to adopt. And the 3 basic use cases, or the main, it's not basic, but main use cases, or groups of use cases that AI provides traditionally today, is the writing, so basically generating content, helping users do that, accessing the knowledge, so everything about catching up, reading complex documents, things like that, and finally the action, so doing things. With a little more detail, so writing, it means that whenever you write something, just like in consumer systems, email, chat, post, article for communicators, AI is here to help you to generate an image that goes with it and to write your content for you or rewrite it with a good tone. Access means, well, search, powered by AI, but also reading complex documents, as I said, and catching up. Like, I'm back from vacation. Instead of browsing, I have a catch-up with everything that's happened. On my project, I have quick catch-up, the last 5 actions, the last 5 documents, the last 5 commands, which is very simplifies and makes work easier for me. And finally, the analyze, transforming information into actions. This is a very, very big field. So I put some examples there, but it's something that's evolving every day. It means, for example, extracting tasks from a conference call transcript and then creating tasks, attributing them to people, notifying people about the fact that the tasks were created. So basically performing all this workflow that the user did manually before and which becomes automatic and almost instant without him being able, to think, without needing any input or any special attention from the person. So which is great. Also management risk detection, analyzing data as well, which is a huge field. And then we can go further, like the previous talk, I talked about code. So being able to use AI for coding, embedding in the platform, and things like that. So basically powering your business use cases. So in the end, I'll show you a couple of videos so that it becomes a little less theoretical. So now let's switch a little to what we do on the technical side. So from the architecture and technical foundation point, so as I said earlier, you can choose your model. So the AI framework that we developed is independent from the model in a way. So you can choose what model you want to use, not for the whole, but even like in fine-tuning it. For any specific use case, you can choose a different model, which is great to manage your security constraint and manage your cost constraints. So basically what happens is that the client uses a cost-efficient model for basic use cases, such as, I don't know, translating or summing up a document, but more complex and more expensive models for things like acting, okay? So we enforce permissions everywhere. So the AI acts as a user augmentation layer. So it's not something independent. The AI actioned by the user follows his permissions, so cannot act outside of that. And coming back to this idea of independence and liberty, so we are trying to construct a hub where the person is free in what they want to do. So the choice of the model, yes, it's one choice, but they can also choose a different interface from us, thanks to the MCP server that we launched, this a couple of months ago, no, a month ago. You can use your favorite agent to access the digital workplace. So we give away control. If you prefer, the user prefers to do that, that's what he can do. But this is also useful for people who we work with. For instance, in our partnership with Orange, they use live intelligence, which is AI managed and in the infrastructure of Orange. So this same MCP server allows their agent, private agent, so sovereign agent, to connect to the digital workplace and do things without compromising data, without giving away data to an external provider, and the same mechanism is used. So it's all about freedom, basically, freedom of choice. So we currently have around 100 tools, MCP tools, exposed to the AI agents, which is one of the highest in our market. And we are working on improving this and extending the tooling, which is part of the continuous work, because we have a lot of APIs, and so each of them has to be translated into tools. And on the other way, we're also able to assemble external agents, so using the user interface in the platform to call on agents which are live intelligence or Wikit or some other provider. So it works both ways. So finally, for technical people, this is what our architecture currently looks like in a simplified way. So what you see on the left, this is Exoscope. So we basically develop a platform that allows you to call on AI from the software, from the digital workplace, that governs the permissions, that has the MCP exposure, so things that are in the left box. Then the data is also indexed and kept inside of this platform. So the knowledge stays with the platform. And then outside of that, you have the LLM that you want to use, the inference engine that you want to use, and maybe private agents that you want to connect. So this is the way it works. So I finished my main slides. So now what I would like to do is to show you a couple of videos to just, give you a visual at what it looks like from the use case perspective, if the technical people can do that. So depending on what we will be able to project, I'll comment the video a little bit. Yeah. So this is an example of Exos interface. We are in the Agenda app, and we are calling on AI to tell her doing something. We're using voice, as you could see, and we are asking the AI to create an event. So it's a very simple action. This is to illustrate basically the way it works, and the fact that it's an example of an agent that creates meetings and manages meetings for you. So as you see, he actually created it and then asked for validation, and then you can see the event created without the user going there. It's very simple, but still it can be part of a more complex workflows. So here we have a different example. We are in an email interface. So we don't provide email, but we have an email client that connects to an email server that can be any server. So here the person basically read the email and generates an answer through Exo AI. So and then we'll extract tasks from the email, create them, and assign them to users. So you see that the AI, created the tasks, and you can see and check if this was done according to whatever you specified. So basically a very quick workflow without the person thinking too much about it. And the final video will illustrate, I think, the MCP server, hopefully. Yeah, so now we are in Cloud. It's just an example. So here we connected the Exo MCP server as an access. And what we are going to do is that we will ask Claude to generate a content from information available. And then we will publish this content in the platform. So here we are in the Claude interface. So Claude likes to talk a lot, so it generates a big content. And this content will now, so now here we are outside EXO, right? So this content will be published inside EXO. So here the model is more intelligent than what we used previously internally, right? So he will recognize the space name by name. And you see that also Claude embeds the same human-in-the-loop permissions that we do. So you can say, yes, I want to publish once or every time. You can fine-tune this, choosing which actions you authorize without OK and which not. And here you see this was published in EXO. So this is a basic nodes. And this the user does manually. So he decides to add an image and publish this node on the stream, which illustrates a sort of workflow that was partly done by AI and partly done by the user manually. Okay, and here you have the node that is published. Thank you so much for the effort on the video. So just to illustrate a couple of examples of what this could do. Those are simple examples, but you can make an effort of imagination and see the potential here in general to tool or to empower your internal workflows and automate them.